Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start building things out. So first thing that I want to do is come to my Git, and we're going to commit the new feature branch here. And we're going to call this BLL auth is persistent for the lifespan of the application for the client side resource credentials client. What is it? Resource owner client credentials. So that's wrong. Resource owner client credentials. It is persistent. We'll commit that and push. Now what we're going to do, let me do this. Put this up here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to my MVC, and what I want to do is take a look at my areas, and we're going to add in a new area for my, well, let's fix the accounts, right? So here, when you're in an account and you are logging in, we currently have a, I don't know why they're using these instead of the HTML ones. We have an email and a password and a remember me. We don't necessarily need an email. We could use a username. We could use a username or an email, which is fine. But for the moment, let's leave email. And so now what we want to do is when this thing is being called, so over here in my controller for account, what we want to do is under my login, not my get, it's my post back. So this one, this is my account login model, which is requesting a email, a password, and a remember me. If my model state is valid, we're going to return this view. And now what I need to do is I need to verify with my auth server if this is in fact correct. Now, this should be done in code, authorization code flow. So let's take a look at how that works. So over here, I can do my, this is what we're doing. Why isn't this kicking through? Because it's already been done. Import smart admin template. Come on. Okay, so what we need is, I want to come back over here to my, and what we want to do is we want to look up Authorization Code OAuth 2.0. Let's go to the framework itself for authorization code. The Authorization Server is an intermediary. Instead of authorizing directly from the resource owner, which in turn returns it back with an authorization code, return the Authorization Server authenticates the resource owner and obtains authorization. Yep. Okay, let's go ahead and implement this. So this allows security because you're never putting credentials directly into this. So let's go back to my OAuth 2.0 C# server. We're going to download this thing again. Because we already have our client credentials flow. I'm sorry, our resource owner credentials flow for the MVC is already set up. But now this is to authorize my users. So here we have a nice pretty example of how this should work. Right here in my authorization code grant. So let's take a peek at this project. Come on. Come on. Well, in the meantime, we're going to just take a look at the code while this thing decides how to load. I can probably see this right in my home controller. Well, there it is. Okay, so back over here in my home controller. What this is doing is it has a view on here called my index. This would be equivalent to my accounts page. Hey there, Death Packs. Welcome to the channel. How are you doing today? If you have any questions, put them into the channel. Make sure that you check us out, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. We've got a really active and supportive community. And if you haven't yet, guys, please click the follow. Appreciate the support. And all the previous videos are available on YouTube/LiverDevTrying. And there is no audio or no music with those as well, so that everything is available. How's it going today? Like in the morning streams? Yeah, I like the morning streams as well. Seems to work well for everybody, I think. All right. So here, what's happening is that when we are requesting this is actually a type submit. So this is a button, right? Let me see if I can run this project. No, so it's missing some pieces, which is fine. I didn't open the whole project. So now when this thing is running, we can take a look at my home controller, and it's clearing my tokens if there is anything. Then it's requesting an access token. If my access token is null, then what we want to do is we want to process my user authorization in my web server. Okay? Let me look at this one more time because they're not exposing these things to me here. If the form gets submit.authorize, prepare a resource. Okay, so we have a couple of redirects in here we need to build in. Process does the authorization response, if applicable, may carry an author intent. This thing may carry an authorization response. So we're going to be hitting a redirect, I believe, right? So we're redirecting to... So let's see, we need to redirect this, it seems, right? So let me take a look back here. I moved this over here. And now if I look here at my authorization server, I have to go. All right, see you later, Lord ABG. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let me take a look here at my OAuth controller here. Jolie96, thank you for that follow. Very much appreciate that. If you have any questions, please put them into the channel. We've got a really active and supportive community. Make sure you check them out, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. So here, it looks like that we have a redirect set up in my... Here, my startup. We have a redirect here to my authorize, right? Authorization endpoint path. But then we also have a login path here. So I think we want to go to this login path. Why don't we open this whole project up? And that way we'll get the entire idea of what's happening. Just a second. Just a second while this unpacks. And then in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to look at that document that I know is out there, where we're going to look up Here we go. So this is what we have to send the user here to this authorization path here. So it looks like in this server, just a second. When I look back here at this, when I look at how I created this in my providers here for authorization provider, when I'm redirecting the URL, I'm checking to make sure that the redirect URL is the same. So we're going to kick on that. So let's start this. And let's just follow exactly what this says to do. I don't know what my scope is here. Just a second. Hey there, Tommy Tuto. It's been a while since I've been on your stream. How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Welcome back. How goes the life? Let's see this thing run. Oh, I think it's running the MVC right now, right? Or did I start the correct one? A second. This thing should tell me it's forbidden. Good. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to run this. So let's pull this thing up. We have your API audience is your scope. And there's going to be a question mark. Sorry, it's that. And then it was my, authorization URL. So that was OAuth/authorize question mark. Response type equals code, and my client ID equals 3001, and my redirect URL, URI, is equal to my star. Let me look real quick here at my startup. Interesting. Let's try it here. So it's working here, 57576 OAuth token. That's fine. So there is no get with this one. And this one was what, a post to authorize or something? Let's find out. Let's open this project up because this thing loaded, right? Next week, I will know if I get to call myself a professional C# developer. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's always a great feeling, huh? I hope you get it. All right, we already looked at this, so we can close this thing out. Here it is. Okay, let's take a look at how this thing runs. So I need to start here my authorization server, right? Do you know what kind of stuff you'll be doing, Tommy Tutos? Microsoft CMS development, content management system. So you'll be working with a content management system, and you'll be designing them. All right, so that's good. Authorization server is working, and now what we want is this authorization code grant. Let's run this project. So here we go. When we click authorize, what it's going to do is it's going to create this challenge thing. It says unauthorized result. So this has redirected me now over to the correct URL here. It looks like everything is encoded in here. And it has, let's see, a return URL. A scope, a state, a response type. Okay? I wonder if this thing has anything in here called challenges. What is challenge? Add environment into the response that will cause the middleware to call to authenticate. Okay, let's try this. So over here then, in my PHS running, let's come back over to my login. And here what we want to do is, instead of all this, we're going to do a authentication dot challenge. And authentication is equal to this. Okay. What are you programming? What I'm doing right now is I'm making a web application in ASP.NET MVC4, and that will be working with a service that I'm also writing called ally.chat. And what that is it's an RSS feeder. And so you'll be able to assign groups of different RSS feeds, like your Twitch or your Discord or your live EDUs, so to say. And you can assign them to a TCP stream or a WebSocket stream for a backend as a service model. Or you can have those redirected over to the web application, and you can use that as the routing so that you can have multiple sources all in one place. Because I don't know if you're like me and you're jumping between multiple things, it gets really challenging. So this is the front end, the account management, and then additionally on the service, I'm going to be using it to hook it up to the overlay, which I've already got set up. I've got a bunch of games already programmed into it, but I just need the piece that controls everything. So that's essentially what we're doing. Right at the moment, I'm setting up my code authorization flow. So here, when I do this challenge, now I should return new HTTP unauthorized result. Let's just see what happens here. Ugh. Let's just see what happens. Additionally, we have this thing set up with WebAPI, and then we're doing everything utilizing WebAPI, so that way we can use it for other applications. This is essentially the infrastructure for Pixelverse Studios. Second. I'm looking for something. Got it. All right, here we go. Is this thing gonna fire up? So when this thing is loading, crap, I put this in the wrong place, didn't I? No. This thing should fire up here momentarily. I think it's getting my authorization token. That might be taking a moment. Or it's not able to load login because of this challenge. User store context set demo. On which one? Which one had its... You did, because you put this into phs.mvc. No, that's right. But on this one, phs.mvc, right? So that way when we look at this thing, let's go ahead and run it. So it's creating the database right now too, which is why it's taking a moment. We can definitely change this too. like that, right? So it loaded. So now let's log out. And now we should get our login hit here where it redirects me. It did not. So let me try this again if I get rid of the cookie. Still didn't do it. So is it firing? Let me look at my contract. No, you never put it there. You put it, where did you put it? Web API, you fun person, you. Okay, let's put this in the right place, which is here. And then we need to grab authentication, which is here. Okay, why can't we find that? Let's find that. Okay, let's go ahead and add the package here onto my MVC. It's called Microsoft ON Host System Web. All right, here we go. This should kick on now. Okay. But now also you need to look at in your server this. You want to take a peek at what's happening up in the route config is fine. That's nothing. Where's your startup? So you have a global config with a register routes. And then that's it. Interesting. Fascinating. Okay. Let's try it. Let it build. See if it works. Are you telling the MVC what it should do? Of course I am. No assembly found in the startup class. So we have to create that ON startup class, right? So that's, if you look here at my resource server, I should have something in here in my startup class called ON assembly item. So let's add this. Over in my MVC, we need to add a new class at the root level. And this is called startup. And now this is a partial class. And it has this thing in it, right? We need to add in a configuration with an I app builder, right? Okay. That should be fine. Let's give it another run. If your code doesn't compile, you just have to talk to it and convince it to. It's like taking rubber ducky debugging to the next level. What is rubber ducky debugging? I haven't heard that term. There we go. All right, so that fired. We'll log out. Now we're going to log in. It fired my challenge. And it's taking me to account login, question mark, return URL. Interesting. I want to look at what that does. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to do authentication, challenge, C#. Dude, put it in Google. It calls the authenticate method to determine which method the authentication module cannot handle the challenge. It must return null. This is it. So if I look here again, when does it ever get the information that it is initialized web server client? Okay, this is the client here, and then where's the challenge that I was seeing? It's in the submit.authorize, which is here. Send my HTTP context. Outgoing web response. Let's try this. So let me see another thing here. You want to do here we go. Oh, well, this is awesome. We're going to save this for another time because this is something I need. Let's try that. So it's set here in the external cookies. So here in my auth startup, okay, you need to have a configure auth, right? So then up here, you need to have another thing called startup, right? Second. We'll get this here. In your startup, this is called your startup.auth, right? And now this is actually a partial, right? And it's like that. So let's try this. We're going to add in this configure auth piece here. Just a second. It really doesn't like this. Okay, let's find what this one is. Microsoft ON security cookies. Okay. Let's try that again now. And also I want to look at in this, because you didn't have anything in this project for that, right? Oh, but it's being handled elsewhere, so don't worry about that. Let's try it. That's fine. Here, let's try building it again. Then we'll run it. That'll do it. Let's try running it. Okay, it's loaded. Let's take a look. You gotta love fun stuff, huh? Let's go back. I just wanted to sign in here. So this definitely is not working here. It causes the authentication middleware to authenticate. This also changes the status code of the response to 401. Let me look real quick here at this again. That's fine. That's for the authorization there. I want to look at this one more time. It's getting its path here. And this is under some do not open garbage, right? Second. Okay, let's do a redirect. So let's see, we want to do a redirect ASP.NET MVC new window. It wants me to do this in a view. Okay. So that means that here in the view, for account, when we're registering, or when we're logging in, I'm sorry. So views, account, login. What we want to do is we want to, when this thing is clicked, then we want to bring it back over here to the controller. And here we don't want to do this, but we want to do a redirect. And we should be able to do it right to the authorization server, which is my http://localhost:8081/ and then it's OAuth/authorize. Could also do this with an action link probably. Let's see. And then here we want to do a question mark response type equals code and client equal ID equals, I don't know what we've decided, 3001 and my, I don't know, and my client ID or secret. Nope. And state equals XYZ and my redirect underscore URI is equal to that. Let's try it out. Okay. All right, here we go. We're going to log in. It's redirecting me, but not correctly. Let's try that. It's loading. Here we go. So it says that I can't find my authorization URL, http://881 response, question mark, authorize. But if I look back up here at what's running under my Authorization Server, I have an OAuth Controller here called Authorize. Found that matches the controller named Auth. So I don't have my routing set up is the problem. Let's set up the routing here. Pull this over here. We need to do a route config, okay? Account controller is register. No, we don't want that. We want to come back down here and look at this one. There's going to be action controller. We don't need a basic controller. The ID is optional. We're ignoring. That looks fine. Global, we're registering. I want to check the URL here on this one when this one's running. Let's take a quick peek. We're going to run the authorization server here real quick. Do you prefer to do it class centric or do you do it in the general area? I do areas is how I like to do things. But it's really irritating to get this stuff started. So now we're going to run this. So let's take a look at my account's home controller here for when this thing is hit. I'm authorizing it. It's dropping down to my process authorization. It's not equal to null. So it's going to authorize my 2 scopes. It's going to send my HTTP context, and then it's going to end my response, and which returns a view. Ah. Okay. Okay, I see what's wrong. So let's come back over here. And what we want to do is we want to look at my account where we're logging in. Here, which is hitting my controller for account login here. And now we didn't like that, right? And now I want to come back and look at this one more time. Let's just add this, okay? Let's just see what happens here. Here it is. Add this into my account controller here. Could add like route, authorize, login thingy for 2 specific methods. I could. I'm just trying to get it to redirect it all where I want right now. Let's just try that. Oh yeah. For the routes, yeah. But I'm trying to redirect over to my authorization server at the moment. Account login. So it didn't. It took me to my maybe you could just do like this. Well, it's really close now. No type was found that matches the controller state called OAuth. So let me come back here and look at this. So now we're going to get a little creative. I'm going to launch the authorization server locally. Yeah, we got it there. Thank you. What's the true there for, Tommy Tutos? You know what? It's the wrong post. I think that's all it is. Let's try it again here in this one. I want to check my PHS, my route here where you're doing this. And I want to go to my hey there, Deathpacks. Thank you for that follow. Very much appreciate that. Guys, give me just 1 second. All right, apologies. Yeah, you did spell it right the first time there. So let me look here at my resource server. I'm sorry, my authorization server, because I had the specific URL in here encoded into my startup. Let's try account login. Let's try that. He's just so unhappy about this. Okay, let's run this thing locally. I don't care about that. Let's just try to get this thing to actually let me log in here. There it is. So it's totally working. It's never validating it here. That's what it is. To do. This is temporary. Let's validate it backwards to the MVC URL callback, which we'll just call this like a, hey there, PottyPot000. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. So now I want to redirect this one. Thank you for that follow. Very much appreciate that. If you could join us at discord.pixelhorsestudios.com. If you have any questions, please pop them into the channel. Also, all the older pieces of this are available on YouTube /LiverDevTrying. Let me see. So this is a temporary fix here because I need a return URL. So in my controller here, under my count, we'll just make a really quick one here. And we're going to do a HTTP post. And we're going to say that this is allow anonymous public async task test And we're going to say that that's not going to take anything. And then you just want to do like a console.writeLine and then nothing, right? And so now this thing, when we're hitting back, should be hitting my... Oh, let's go use a request bin. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with this site. Deadline says, take care, Rob. I got to put some music on. I get some work. Starting to slack. No problem, man. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Let's create a new post bin. Here, let's go backwards. I want to create a new one here that's private. And so now we need to pass over a post to this URL. So back then on my resource server, sorry, my authorization server on my account. No, you didn't hit there. You hit in my authorization provider. We'll do that one. And then let's look at my callback in my oh, you just wanted to say that this is account/test, I believe, right? Yeah, account test. So let's try it. What was the one that you ultimately decided on? Ah, crap. Too many URLs open. Hold on, let me find it. Don't you already have this thing here in your MVC account controller? You actually don't need this. Just like that, right? And then in your login, nope, it's in the post back. This is it. So let's run it. Infinite tab spawn, says to me too. Can you post that link in the chat? Which link are you looking at? Which one do you want? Oops, wrong resource, 57576. Come on. There. So it validated it. And now it's going to have hit my account. So far, so good. Oh, request bin. Yeah, request bin is great. Let me find it. Hold on. Too many tabs. Did I close it? No, I didn't. Here it is. So this thing's running. Now we need to hit it. Doesn't like any of this stuff, huh? It's got a cookie in there now. Why is it not? Account test. Let's rebuild it. Well, this thing should be hitting my request bin, right? When it's validating in my authorization. Yeah, you're right. I'm probably not hitting the right URL, huh? Let's try that. There we go. And now it says OK. And so now when we look at the request bin, you can see that it came in here with this cookie. And it says that it has an invalid request. So let's add in the appropriate pieces for this now. Okay, so now that's fine. Let's go to this one. Oops, that's wrong. I want to grab this thing and do all of that, and then let's get the rest of this from my MVC redirect, which I wrote in here. Didn't I? No, it's in the MVC redirect, right? Maybe you need to have a few more things in here. Oh, but your redirect is still wrong. So OAuth response 57576. Here we go. Still nothing there. Okay. So it's not loading the correct page here. So let me go back to my example. I want to look at the code that it's passing over when I run this one. Okay, let's take a look here. When this thing runs, my code grant. So here it's calling authorize with no pieces on the OAuth controller, right? So it needs to have these parameters in here, doesn't it? Well, now it's challenging it because the identity is equal to null. And takes me over to this. So let's grab, oh, it takes, that pushed me back over to account login with all of these different credentials that it did not get from the authorize, right? So let me run that again. Now I want to take a look at this. Is actually going to be an http://localhost/57576/account/login ? And then all of this crap, right? Let's try that. How are you guys doing? If you haven't, please click the follow. Check us out, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Also, all these videos are available up on YouTube/LiverDevTrying if you're at all interested. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, crap, I'm running the MVC, aren't I? Let's go back. We want to run this authorization server. We're going to debug it. We're going to run it. We're going to authorize. Type code, client, response code, code, account login, account login, account login, account login, account login. It never hit over here on the Web API controller. Hey there, Spectre4. Thank you for that follow. Very much appreciate that. If you have any questions, please pop them into the channel. I think I need more hits. Let's see. I think I need more hits on my page before I get a custom URL. So let me give you my channel. Yeah, it looks like I need to get a custom URL, so I need a few more follows. I think it takes up to 100 before you get one. And I think I'm at like 50 something. Because I just started doing the YouTube stuff. All right, here we go. So now, I don't see this thing kicking back. So let me try my OAuth authorize here. Thank you, Crazy Dunkers, for that follow. Very much appreciate that. 57576. But over here under account, it says that this thing is actually taking nothing. I don't even see it hitting. how is it ever even getting past this? It never even hits, right? Let me come down here to my authorization server. Let's turn this one off. I'm going to come back up here. Let me run this one. If you search for your channel name, you get your old Rob Engel channel's results. Interesting. Which one's my old channel? So that worked, but if I just went to here, does that work? No. Okay, let me go back over to the server. We're going to pull the actual string off of whatever it's sending. All right, that's fine. We don't care about this. We just want to make sure that my authorization server is running. And then we also want to make sure that my code credential grant is running. Here we go. And I think down here on my authorization server, I should be able to look at my account and also my OAuth controller and also my no providers, eh? All right. So here it is. We're going to authorize. And then it's going to hit my authorize here. Right? But then back up here on my app start for this, I know you have something called startup.auth in here where you're looking at your where you're doing your validate client credentials URL. So let's try it again. Authorize. Okay, it's going to check it. It's going to say it's validated to my redirect URL, which is just 38500, so it doesn't even use the rest. Okay, let's give that a try. So that means that in this, oh, I forgot to run the right one here. Because I think I've already set the path here in the startup, right? Let's try that. Check your routes. The routes seem to be fine. I'm doing code authorization, which is kind of annoying to set up. So it's going to be my OAuth token. I'm sorry, authorize. So that should be fine. Forbidden. Okay, and so now we're going to look at my OAuth controller here. This should be kicking here. Well, forbidden just means that it redirected to the wrong route. So here in the OAuth controller, when this thing hits my... Oh my god, where did you do it? Invalid request. Let's try it again. We want to run the authorization server here. Let's get the code grant. Okay, so it's hitting the index. It's going to hit the index again. Now it's going to hit that. When is this hitting? I want to check this one. No, because it's never even creating it yet. And now it's hitting my login, so that's fine. So login is sending it to the right place. But it is never hitting my OAuth controller here. So in my startup, you are registering this route, but you're doing a separate... Oh, sorry. Over here, you are registering a separate Web API config here. So that means that in your routes, ASP.NET MVC routing, and then we want to have a custom HTTP context. I'm sorry, config. Config.routes. So we should be able to, in here, pass in something like a HTTP configuration. Call it config. Just a second here. We're almost there. All right, let's try something else. So instead of doing this, I wonder if I can just do this. And then here we could just do because I wonder if this is all it is that my routes are not being properly configured? Because probably. Ah, wrong project. All right, just a second. All right, let's do this here. We're going to add in here the HTTP configuration like I was doing it. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do my config.ignore route. Sorry, routes.ignore route. And this route name is going to be what? This. And then we have to have a template. That's fine. I don't even know what that's all about. That's fine though. And then we want to get my map attributes. Like that. Right? And then what we want to do is we want to map my one route. Like that. And then we also want to add in my route template here. Okay, so now over here in my global, do I even still need this global? Probably not. And so now over here in the startup, I can just add in my route config.register routes, and it wants to get my route.routing table, right? Or whatever that crap was. Route table.routes. And then also my config. Let's try it out. An item with the same key has already been added. So this is in my authorization startup. Under register, you have map HTTP attributes. So you don't need that a second time under my routing config. Let's try it again. Ah, crap. This hassle would give me AIDS. Yeah, it's a little bit of a pain here, but we're almost through it. Second. Ah. That might do it. Oops, wrong one. Thank you, DMAX2245, for that follow. If you have any questions, please pop them into the channel. We've got a really active and supportive community. Thanks for checking this out. Let's see, routes. Second. Because this should be... Let's try that. Thank you, Thost TYK, for that follow. Very much appreciate that. Yeah, this is kind of annoying right now, but we'll get through it. I just can't get it to fire on my... Oh, we're supposed to put this below the other one, right? And then we need to fix this. We probably don't need this anymore, or this one. Let's try it again. I gotta stop doing that. Let's just fix it. Here, we'll make this the startup project. Okay. $57576. Account login. Nothing. So let's here do my OAuth account login just to see. Because what's really interesting is that it's hitting my authorization, but then it's not. Okay, I think it's because I'm... Is it because I'm suppressing my default? Let me go back. So this looks fine, but what we wanted to check was, I think that in my web API, we had this weird thing. And then also this, which we can probably get rid of. This one here. One more try. Here we go. Nothing. All right, guys. Unfortunately for me, that's all the time that I have for today. So I will be back tomorrow morning. We'll try to start around 5:30. If you have any questions, please pop them into the channel or at the Discord, which is discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Also, I'm part of Indie Dev here on twitch.tv. Thanks for staying with me today. And then we'll absolutely 100% get this implemented probably in about 20 minutes tomorrow. And I'll make sure that we have this thing set up and ready to go. So thanks again, guys. Make sure to click the follow, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.